It's an incredible privilege to be asked and invited to speak in this year-end party, or concert rather. Just last year, I remember sitting somewhere around here, wishing that time would just slow down a little bit so that I wouldn't be where I am right now, 1 year on, seeing my daughter graduate from K2. But nonetheless, of course, we are extremely proud of her to have grown and developed into a fine young girl since the day she started at Cambridge. And I remember the first day quite vividly, and I'm sure Principal Irene would remember. It was in 2020, just after the COVID lockdown was lifted. And I think the majority, or maybe everyone in the graduating class, must come from that batch of kids where some months of interaction with other children and other people was curtailed because of COVID. And my daughter was really nervous, really anxious about going to school. And you have one anxious daughter, and you have what Principal Irene can probably remember, even more anxious father sending the daughter to school. But really, there was a team of teachers and carers in the school that really made things a lot simpler, made things, help with the transition process for our child to start school. And I mean, we can't owe any more gratitude to Ma Lao Shi, to be honest, and I'm sure many parents here would also attest to that Ma Lao Shi really was such a calming figure, somebody that really the child could look up to and find some safety. And she really, I think, all I won't say single-handedly, I mean it's a whole team, but I think she is somebody that struck most in my mind when I think of how Sui started to become very comfortable with school. And I think through the years I have seen Sui really appreciating, respecting, and being very fond of all her teachers. I think Ma Lao Shi, as I've mentioned, teacher Gina at that time, and when she moved on to N1, she had the privilege to be taught by Rui Wen Lao Shi, Qiu Lao Shi. Then subsequently, she had teacher Kerlin, she had teacher Yi Ying, Lu Bing Lao Shi, and more recently in K1, teacher Joyce made such an impression on her. And every day, almost every day, every evening, my wife and I were made to play school at home. And we could see the teachers in school in her every day, how she would imitate and pretend to be them. We had English lessons, we had Chinese lessons, and I think probably that is one very sure way to know that our daughter is enjoying school. Our daughter is appreciating and respecting her teachers, and I think as a parent, that's nothing much more I need to ask for, sending my child to the school. And of course, in K2, as the kids get older, you certainly would expect that the child becomes maybe a little bit more challenging. They demand more autonomy, and I mean that there's really tremendous amount of hard work and effort by teacher Jasmine and Li Lao Shi to take care of them, to make sure that they are well taught, well educated, well disciplined, and I even dare say well loved. And I think the past few years, past 4.5 years, we do appreciate that in Cambridge we do see a special relationship between the teachers and the students. And I think there is this relationship that the teachers try to forge and develop and nurture. And it's not just a top-down teacher-student relationship. I see that there's a lot more to that. There is a lot more care, a lot more affection, and I think that makes students feel comfortable coming to school, and I think we definitely appreciate it. And all these good things that we have appreciated in Cambridge would not have been possible without really the strong leadership of definitely the ex-principal, Principal Irene, and the present Principal Val. So I think they really deserve a big round of applause. So. I'll spend a few more minutes just to maybe highlight a few memorable events. When I was asked to give this speech, first event and that came to my mind that I wanted to speak about was actually the very first field trip after COVID. And that was in N2 when the kids went to Gardens by the Bay. And, at that time, there was still, I think, probably some relaxation of the social distancing and all that. But, it really opened my eyes as to the amount of effort that teachers have to undertake to really take care of the kids and take care of the kids so well. And of course, subsequently, we do appreciate the work by the Cambridge staff more and more as well, especially with some of the events that we had the privilege of parents participating in. So, for instance, the Father's Day event and the Mother's Day event. And I think the most memorable highlight, I would say, would be last year's year-end concert. And just as I was mentioning in the beginning, Sui started off in school being very timid, very anxious, maybe not the best communicator. But last year, she was up on stage, she was dancing, she was in the front row, she was given the confidence by her teachers and her friends to perform in front of a huge crowd, and that really filled me and Wenyin's heart with full of pride. So I know something good has happened in the past few years at Cambridge. I think I would like to conclude because I was promising the next parent that I won't be more than 5 minutes so as not to spoil the market. But really, in ending, I think I would certainly miss the days and the mornings that I can send both Sui and her brother Jin-Yi to school. Now I think we have to send them separately to different schools. So that's something that I will definitely miss. Time really flies when you have young children. It's hard work, but it's also work that you will eventually miss when no longer there. So at least personally, me and my wife can only just enjoy the remaining 3 years that her brother will have with Cambridge, and enjoy every moment of it until in 3 years' time I'm asked to stand on this podium again to give a graduation speech. So thank you very much.